everybody, this is Christine Bertram with Cards by Christine, and I'm here with you for a Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about buying a white craft ink pad and what it means when you get it, because it comes with a refill. So let me flip down here. So in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, there are a couple different types of ink pads, and Kelly's covered Memento Black. She's also covered the Stays-On pad. In a future video, we're going to be talking about using Versamark and what you do with a Versamark pad. But today's focus is going to be on the white craft pad. So if you go to your catalogs on page 1, whoop, that's not the right page. Hang on, it's back here. Right after the paper, right there. We have here Whisper White Craft Pad, and it's a rich permanent Whisper White pigment pad. And when you buy this, it does cost a little bit more than a regular ink pad. It's $9.50, but that's because it comes with the refill. And then you can also purchase a separate refill. So when you buy this as a pair, you get these two things. Again, that was on page 147 of the annual catalog. So a few years back, they used to come inked, and they stopped doing that. And at first I didn't catch why they stopped doing that, but I think what happens is they don't ink this up right away for you, because just to keep it safe and secure, sometimes the ink can run out or get gooey, and this is like a gooier pigment pad, pigment ink. So when you get this, this is wrapped in the plastic, just like all the other ink pads are. And you just take that plastic off, and you're gonna have to re-ink this pad yourself. Now, this is the only pad that you're gonna get where it doesn't come inked. And that may be confusing for you, because when you open this up, it's white, and you don't realize, okay, you guys, that's brand new. You can see that's super tight. Did Kelly do a Tip Tuesday on this? She did, okay. You guys, the struggle is real. The more you do this, it helps to loosen that up. But when you first get some ink pads from Stampin' Up, that's really tight on the side. And what did Kelly do? She used chapstick.
Chapstick?
Yep.
Burt's Bee wax.
The Burt's Bee wax. Yep, you guys, there's a video on.
A birthday cake.
Okay, Kelly's here, guys. Here, she wants to say hi.
Hi, guys.
So she did a special Tip Tuesday on that already. So that's not the purpose for today. But I was like, wow, that's tight. So you guys know the struggle is real when you get new ink pads. Okay, so you look at this and you're like, oh, it's white. It's ready to get going and do some stamping. But when you go to dip in here, let's get a stamp here real quick. When you go into the ink pad, you're gonna be bamboozled, because you're gonna be like, where's the ink? And that's what I'm here to show you about today. So it's like re-inking any ink pad. Grab your spoon, get a baby wipe handy, and you're gonna ink this bad boy up. And what I do to re-ink is, I've had the re-inker going the other way. So you just get ink all over the surface of the pad. Now, when an ink pad is already inked, I don't go over the entire surface like this. I generally will gravitate towards the middle, because that's the area where most people go to get ink from. So sometimes I'll just re-ink the middle. I don't generally go over it in this depth, but for this one, you're gonna want to get ink all over. And if your hands have a hard time squeezing the bottle, try to make sure that the ink is all the way to the tip so that you don't have to squeeze so hard. Or invite a friend over to help you with it. But you're gonna have to squeeze on this the ink bottle a little bit to get as much ink down here as you can. And I'm gonna take a first pass at this, because I don't know if this is gonna be enough ink for the first pass. We'll see here. But then after you've put ink all over the pad, you take your spoon, your baby spoon. I keep a little baby spoon right here by me, so in case I need to re-ink. And now you're just gonna smooth this all around. Now, a pigment ink is a gooier ink pad, or a type of ink. Generally, pigment inks are used for embossing. When you have embossing powder, you really need that embossing powder to stick to something. And so if you use the regular water-based ink pads, it doesn't work so well when you want to emboss. So this white ink pad is another pad that you can use for embossing. I'm going to talk about that. What am I going to talk about that? I think that's next week. So this is part of a 2-part Tip Tuesday. That is a tongue twister. So you can see once I spread that around, I still have some missing spots. So I'm going to go back and try to get those missing spots. So this Tip Tuesday is part 1 of 2. Next week, Tuesday, we're going to do embossing with white craft pad. So this is how to prep your white ink pad. And then next week, we're going to do some embossing and show you some cool cards with it. But you're wondering, well, what's the white ink pad for? So it's really cool stamping white on dark colors. And I'm going to show you a card here in a second that you guys probably have seen it and you will recognize it when I show it to you. It's one of my favorite card layouts. If I'm preparing you, if you did Mystery Night, you're going to probably know which card I'm talking about. But this white ink pad is awesome for snowflakes. I'm going to show you, I'm going to take a flower stamp, and actually I haven't done it yet, but we're going to see what it looks like on some rich raspberry paper. So take this, so I did 2 coats. I did a thin first coat, and then I did another thin second coat. And now I'm getting into all the empty spaces that I missed. And pretty soon, you're gonna have your ink pad ready to go. And when you store your ink pads, the way that Stampin' Up! Has them designed, they will be stored upside down. So when you shut this, it's upside down, and all the ink should gravitate towards the top, or which will be the bottom when it's closed. Okay, so let's just test this and see where we're at. Sometimes when you re-ink a pad, you get those lines from where you put the refill ink, and you want to smooth those lines out as best as you can. So let's set that like that, grab our piercing mat, and this is a piece of rich raspberry. And we're just gonna see how it works. So you want to test it just to make sure that you've got enough ink on it. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. All right, so see what this looks like. So that's what it looks like when you stamp white on a dark color. White on a light color isn't really going to do much. So from here, what you could do is pour embossing powder over the top of this. And there are 4 different colors, and we'll go over that next week. But you could leave this and let it dry, or you could emboss with this. Okay. So if you feel like you need a little bit more white ink on there, like it's not quite juicy enough, you could go ahead and put a 3rd coat of re-inker on there, no problem. So that is that. Now when you go to clean your spoon, just grab yourself a baby wipe or a wet wipe, and you can get that all cleaned off, or take it to the kitchen sink and run it down the drain. That works too. So let's show you the card that I did. Drum roll. Brrr, you guys know this card. We did this for Winter Bingo. And then this was also a card that was featured for the Mystery Night card. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but the background is stamped with a bunch of snowflakes. And I actually did these cards, I think, on January 7th as a bonus that I didn't have any class that night, so I made these cards live. And this is the snowflake stamp from Snow Wonder that went with that snowman, and we just stamped all the snowflakes along the back. So white is awesome for anything snow related. So, all right, I think that's all that I have. Kelly, did I miss anything? We always, we kind of like game plan, what do we want to go over? But I think I covered everything for this Tip Tuesday. So stay tuned for next week's Tip Tuesday, and we're going to do the second half of this, and that is using the white craft pad for embossing and what you can do with that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Lots of sunshine, love, and hugs to you guys. Love you. Bye.